brothers, don't go against the government. And then they said, yes, you are a sultan of the government. He said, don't go against the government. Don't go against the government. And they didn't. And they started making the sect, and they started rebelling, and the entire, you know better than me what happened in Syria. The consequence of that is that hundreds of thousands of people passed away, innocent children, and the scholars that initiated it, they moved out. They moved to other countries. They are watching the entire thing happening, how the people are being killed by the government, and they were watching it from a distance, and they're seeing how everything is taking place and how the people are being killed. And only later on, people started to realize the hikmah of why Sheikh Sa'id Ramadan said don't go against the government. Not because he supported the government, but because the consequences of what going against the government will do. How much people lost their lives. Their people's lives, they will never come back again. How much Turath and legacy within Syria had been destroyed. Hundreds of years of legacy. Islamic civilization, the Amawi civilization that was destroyed, that can never be resuscitated again. It is gone. It is gone. So many institutions of knowledge, ulama, great scholars who were killed in the process. And that gap will never ever be filled again. Syria used to be one of the most greatest, one of the beacons of light of knowledge. One of those. And today, many of the scholars, the scholars had to flee. Some of them are now in Turkey, others are in North Africa, some are all over, because of the what had happened, and the infrastructure that was damaged, and the sanction that was placed upon the ulama. So in hindsight, the hikmah of Sheikh Sa'id Ramadan al-Bouti, yes, he's a tyrant, but opposing him or remaining silent and accepting the harsh treatment, of which going against him, the consequence of is that his entire country is destroyed. Ulama died in the process, innocent people died in the process. People, ulama, up until they banished, they are living outside Syria, they can never return again. So the hikmah, people never understood it. And they only realized it afterwards. Radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And this is unfortunately the result and the consequence if ulama get involved with the rulers and they get involved in politics, then they become so entangled with politics that they are unable to see beyond that. They're seeing an immediate consequence. They're unable to see the further detrimental consequence or the effect of being involved or what it can lead to. And you say, السياسة نجاسة والسياسة خساسة. The politicians, they collude in secrecy, as how the munafiqeen and mushrikeen are colluded in secrecy, and then they come out and they say certain things, make the people believe that this is what the objective is, but in reality that's not the objective. They've already spoken, Wallahu a'lamu ma yubayyitun, and Allah knows what they're speaking about behind closed doors and in the middle of the night when people, then they collude and they just to further the objectives. And the only objective is to prepare for the coming of the Dajjal. They are preparing the dunya for the coming of the Dajjal. A person who gets involved with them is a person who inevitably is going to be assisting that unless he's a very strong person and is a person who's able to, and his opinion is respected and his opinion is appreciated. Otherwise, for ulama to take the safer route is just to stay away from siyasa and not to be involved in politics. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam. May Allah ta'ala save us. It's a very challenging time in which we don't know the reality of what is happening. Everyone is become a politician these days by watching a few articles and watching a few videos, reading a few articles and assessing the situation, and now they know the geopolitical situation of the world and what's happening, and they can give you a synopsis of it. And the reality is that you don't know what is happening behind the scenes. Wars are created in order to enrich certain people, and the impression is created in people's minds that these people against. In reality, all al-kufru millatun wahida. Kufr is just one big religion. They all have the same objective. And the sole objective is the orchestrator behind is all the Dajjal. Dajjal is preparing the world for his arrival. And every single person who has a dunya motive, he is essentially preparing for the arrival of Dajjal. Because Dajjal is going to enrich them. He's going to further their objectives. The Mahdi will not further their objectives. No Nabi Isa alayhi salam further their objectives. There's no interest for them in the arrival of the Mahdi. As this interest in for them in the coming of Dajjal. So that is, so may Allah Ta'ala save us. And these are very, the Prophet ﷺ described it as al-fitna to-dahma, al-dhalma, the very dark fitan, the unclear fitan. It is extremely vague. It is extremely difficult to navigate your way through it, to a point where he says that يُصْبِحُ الرَّجُلُ مُؤْمِنًا وَيُمْسِي كَافِرًا وَيُمْسِي مُؤْمِنًا وَيُصْبِحُ كَافِرًا. The morning you'll be a believer, the night you will go to bed as a disbeliever. You will wake up as a disbeliever, you'll go to bed the night as a believer. And that's how he sells his deen all the time. He doesn't know what is the reality. Look at, for example, this whole COVID thing. How the world came to a standstill. They made the world believe that this, if you don't follow protocol, you're all gonna die. And people became so engrossed that every single thing, the last person, his mind is so consumed about COVID. Everything, to a point that masajid was closed, Jumu'ahs were stopped, and may Allah Ta'ala forgive us for our shortcomings. And the scholars had difference of opinion with regards to it. And those who adopted the opinion that the masajid must be closed, and they have their reasons, that was the ijtihad, and that led them to that. And those who felt that the masajid should remain open, they had their ijtihad, and they will receive the consequence, and they will be rewarded for their ijtihad. And والمجتهد إذا أخطأ فله أجر وإذا أصاب فله أجران. A person, when he exercises his ijtihad and he makes a mistake, then he gets the reward of making an effort to reach the hukm of it. And if he is right, then he gets two ajrs: the ajr of being right and the ajr of expending the effort in order to reach to the conclusion. So we don't want to criticize those who close and those who didn't close, but the idea is that look at how a fitna like that, it caught the ummah unexpected, to a point that people were confused. Must I not? Should I go to Jum'ah? Shouldn't I? Must I wear a mask? Shouldn't I wear a mask? Should I go visit? Shouldn't I go? And everybody just were lost in that entire. That is probably one of the easier fitness of the end of time. And what is yet to come, it is going to be more difficult. And it will continue to become more difficult and more difficult, to a point that yusbihul halimu hayran. A person who has perseverance, he will become perplexed. He won't know what is happening. It will be very difficult. May Allah Ta'ala save us from those fitna. But now what happens is, Allah Ta'ala is لِيَمِيزَ اللَّهُ الْخَبِيثَ مِنَ الطَّيِّبِ. It's a test that Allah Ta'ala is putting the believers through. It's like a think of a sieving process. One is a bigger hole and one is a smaller, and finer and finer and finer and finer, and only the best of the best comes through at the bottom. And those who they fall through they make it through the big one, then they wiggle, eventually comes to the final one, they might not make it through. Allah yahfadna wal umma ajma'in. But eventually Allah Ta'ala then distinguishes between the good and the bad, to a point where it reaches very close to the Mahdi and the arrival of Nabi Isa, where there will only be two camps. Rasulullah says fustatain. There will only be two camps. Fustatu imanin la nifaqa fihi, wa fustatu kufrin la imana fihi. It will be a group that have iman, there will be no kufr iman, no hypocrisy, pure iman. And another camp that will be only kufr, and there will be no iman in it. No iman. It's just kufr and hypocrisy. And that will be the two camps, Dajjal and Nabi Isa alayhi salam. So there won't be like a middle, it will be the fence sitters, and we see, okay, how does the battle go, who's winning, and it will be, you either going to be, now how are you going to get to that decisive moment? You get to the decisive moment, but Allah Ta'ala is going to filter the believers. You're going to see how, that's why strengthen your iman and be sincere in what you do. Sincerity will get you through your trials, your tests in life. There's no time these days anymore to do things for people. There's no time anymore to do things for sure. There's no time anymore now to be distracted by what people have to say and what people think about me. There's no time. Life is so short. We just have to focus upon ourselves and try to, like Rasulullah says, if it comes to that point where you are so perplexed, just stay in your home. So the companion said, Ya Rasulullah, if it comes in my home, the oppressor, and he starts beating me, the Prophet says, bite on the tree. وَلَوْ أَن تَعُضَّ عَلَى أَصْلِ الشَّجَرَةِ, bite on the tree and just hold on to it, even if death comes at that point. But don't get involved in finance. Don't get involved in today social medias, mashallah. Every single thing, everyone has a comment. And everyone is a master, a PhD holder in this specific thing. And you see how people are giving fatwa on social media and this one. I don't think this is right, and they're debating. There's no time for that. Ahbab, save your time. Instead of posting unnecessary comments, whether it is a debating comment or whether, there's no time for this. Life is too short. Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself and just try to be the best version you can be. So the day comes and we happen to be at the time where Allah is going to be sending the Dajjal, we can be from those who will say, Anta Dajjal, you are Dajjal, that the Prophet ﷺ spoke about. And you can see that kafir or that kufr sign on his forehead. Or else, what's going to happen if we don't? What's going to happen if we don't? We're going to join him. Ya Rabbi Sallam. And that we can make it at least to be in the army of the Mahdi, Nabi Isa. But we're not going to, we're going to be distracted by everything. Every little event that happens in this world, every little thing, sometimes it's in a different country and then I lose sleep because of some people there in Ukraine that is fighting with Russia. And now I'm so preoccupied with Ukraine and Russia's war. And I know the details of it and I'm reading about everything. Did you read it all right? Did you read the morning adkar? Did you read the night adkar? And that is how we lose ourselves to the test of this world. That is test. Allah says, وَجَعَلْنَا بَعْضَكُمْ لِبَعْضٍ فِتْنَةً. That Allah's going to make you as test for each other. Are we now, every time something happens, and there's so many things going to happen in the world, every time something happens, we are going to now sit there, I'm going to analyze this now. Okay, what's happening now? There's no time. Just continue. And this is one of the amazing things of our Hawaii. They went through communists. They went through Wahhabism. They went through this. If you want to speak recently, they went through COVID. They went through so many things. If you were in that city, you would not say that there was COVID. If you had followed the gatherings, and yes, maybe at that time there were some instructions in order not to draw unnecessary attention to them from the world. There was instructions that they shouldn't photograph the public gatherings directly and show the gatherings. So Habib's advice was like, just focus on the speaker and don't show the gathering. But if you were there, Haji Abbas was with me and we were in the heart of COVID, right? Just after the wave, and we went to Tarim. So we come in Egypt, we arrive in Egypt, everyone is masked. We left here, protocols, forms, all the stuff and tests and all of that you have to do. Get on the airplane, masks. You're sitting next to a person, but when they serve you the meal, you take off your mask and you eat, and the person next to you is busy coughing. And then it's okay, you can take off your mask. Anyway, we get to Egypt, everyone is masked. Everyone is masked. There were some Chinese people with us on the flight, and they had not only mask, they had the whole white gear on. That PPP, whatever it is, right? I had that whole gear on. So we get on the Yemeni flight. We get on the Yemeni flight. I tell Ajabas, just watch. Just see what happens. We get on the Yemeni flight. Some people got on the mask, some people take on the mask, they busy laughing at each other. We now still have a mask on because we now coming from a very strict country. I tell them, this is the last time you're going to be wearing a mask. It's gonna be last time. We land in Seoul. As we land in Seoul, the security they don't have masks on. The security is supposed to ensure that protocols follow. They don't have masks on. And as soon as the people land from the airplane, they started taking off their masks. Now, Haji Abbas was with and another senior uncle was with us. So he still kept on his mask. Kept on his mask. When we were there, the first day, the second day, he was the only one that was in that whole tariq, the only one. Eventually, he felt so awkward, so he started saying, he also took off his mask. The point of it is that it's not about the mask, and it sounds very funny. The point is that they are focused and they know that they have a goal and they have a mission. And the mission is that I need to reach Allah Ta'ala. My life is only so many years. I can't afford to be bogged down by this and tied down by that and restricted by this. And when at that time, did we go to Nabiullah Hud? Did we go to Nabi Hud? Went to Ziyarah, or was it a private Ziyarah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then I think it was after that. After that, we didn't go for the Ziyarah, the Khasa. So there's a Ziyarah Khasa and a Ziyarah Ahmad. The Ziyarah Khasa is Habib and his students. And all the different branches of that falls under Dar al-Mustafa, then they would generally go, and that would be in Muharram. And it would be another Ziyarah that takes place just before Ramadan in the month of Sha'ban. Like now, last month would have been the Ziyarah Ahmad. That is with the whole Tareem is there. That's like packed. So in the Ziyarah Khasa, it happened that there was a wave and there was a lockdown. So they told Habib that you can't go this year to Nabiullah Hud because of these protocols, and we need to social distance, and you take your threats and you take your precautions and you implement it, and we have with us the Bishara, the glad tidings of Rasulullah, and we will take it with us. So he says, خذوا تهديداتكم. Take your threats and whatever. ومعنا بشارة نبينا. We have the glad tidings of our Prophet Muhammad. And they just went to Nabiullah Hud. They went in their numbers. No social distance, no mask. Again, I say the idea is not so people don't take my talk out of context and they say, yes, you're saying that you're encouraging people not to follow Quran. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that life is so short. To be tied down and bogged down to every single event that happens in life. You lose sleep for it. Just focus on Allah. And focus on your ibadah and just try to connect yourself to Allah and try your level best to be at least at the moment when you close your eyes to be on those meanings that Bilal was at Wa Taraba. What a enjoyment, what an ecstasy. غدا ألقى الأحبة محمدا وحزبه. Tomorrow I will meet my beloved Muhammad and his companions. Wallahu ta'ala yahdina ila sawa'i salam. And Allah ta'ala protect us from the fitan and the tests and the trials and the tribulations of our time. Ameen. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد. من يشهد؟ I hope that my talk is not taken out of context. It's understood. The gist of it is that أشتغل بربك. Imam Al Haddad says فاشتغل بربك والذي عليك. Just focus on your Rabb and what Allah expects from you. Just focus on Allah. Does it mean you must be disconnected from people and what people's interest? No. They are very much connected to the people's sufferings. If you take an example of what's happening in Palestine, I've never heard Habib Umar make so much dua in every lecture as he makes now for the people of Palestine. And he has so many classes. His classes that he has, it's more than the amount of du'as that I make for myself. So in every class, he's constantly making dua. That is what we know of. Not in his moments of seclusion and his moments of when he worships, when he has his own ibadah. So they're very much connected. And they're constantly supplicating and calling to Allah Ta'ala to remove the distress and remove the difficulties from the ummah of our beloved Prophet. So we're not disconnected. We're not saying you be insensitive to what's happening. You be connected and you make dua to them. Make salatul hajah for the ummah. Give sadaqah on behalf of them. Give sadaqah, yeah. And say, Ya Allah, through this sadaqah, remove the calamities of the people in Palestine. Be engaged in ibadah, and ibadah, connect himself to them. And as we say that in every act of ibadah you do, yeah, you witness that through that act of ibadah, Allah Ta'ala will bring relief to the people in Palestine. Right? So we very much engage. But our engagement doesn't preoccupy us to a point where we become distracted from Allah. Our very engagement in the ummah's conditions is that we are connecting ourselves more to Allah, because we believe in connecting to Allah, Allah Ta'ala removes the calamities of the ummah. But now I'm becoming disconnected and I'm just posting a whole lot of stuff and I'm shouting slogans and I'm and لا تبقي ولا تذر. That is a really, there's no what is a slogan, and these slogans are good and they have some sort of benefit to create awareness. But I'm sitting in a corner, I'm saying free Palestine, free. Comes Salatul Fajr, sleeping, Fard Salah, sleeping, no Sunnah fast, no Sadaqah, neglectful on essentials. I rather leave it and go sleep early at night, and then make sure you wake liquor early up, and you in the middle, just for 5 minutes of Fajr, say, oh Allah. The time when Allah Ta'ala is saying, Hal min sa'il fa'u'tiyah. Is there anyone who asks me anything, I can give it to him. Then you say, Ya Allah, free our brother Palestine. Ya Allah, conquer Masjid al-Aqsa from the hands of the Zionists. Tell me, that free Palestine on the corner with a flag, or the person in the middle of the night saying, Ya Allah, free Masjid al-Aqsa. Who's more effective? It's not brain science. It's not brain science. It is this. The child will tell you that. But because we become so entangled with politics, and because we've made to believe, and yes, we by our nation, we are people that are very Hamasi. And I say Hamasi, we refer to people in Palestine. I mean, like, we are very we are activists. We have that, not militant, but we're activists. Like, we have that in our bloods. We because we feel this struggle. We feel this struggle. But the struggle is not our struggle. What I mean is that it's not the same like our struggle that we have of apartheid. It's not the same. That struggle there is a struggle for the deen. That is a struggle at the Islam that they want to silence. That is Islam. They want to silence Islam. And our struggle was more a political struggle for power. Not so much partially Islam, but it's a pure one for Islam. They don't want any. This was a racial issue. Partially Islam, racial. This pure just Islam. And the only way you're going to conquer the Antichrist is through bringing life to the Sunnah of Rasulullah. You want to counter the Dajjal. Counter him with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He can't stand in the face of Rasulullah. He can't stand in the face of Nabi Isa. The Prophet, when he spoke about the Dajjal, he says Nabi Isa will run behind him and then he will melt as Nabi Isa is running behind him. What about if it's Sayyidina Muhammad? You counter him with Rasulullah Sunnah. You counter him with Rasulullah Sunnah. And that is how you fight it. So the more you become steadfast, the more you implement the Sunnah, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant protection to the Ummah. The more Allah ta'ala will alleviate difficulties. But if you're going to just follow every single what the disbelievers are doing, you want to do the same.